attempting to do a video. I don't know if y'all can hear me over the chickens and van and everything else, but I'm gonna do a video here on would you pick this thing up off the side of the road? It's one of them big old I guess pedicure chairs, like at a nail salon. I know I wouldn't because I've lifted this thing already, and it was delivered to me. So that's the only reason I'm doing it. So just kind of a video to, I mean, maybe somebody's done one out there. I haven't seen it before. But see what's inside these things. This video, I'm sure I'm gonna edit some just to cut the time down because I don't even know where to start on this. This is the first. It weighs a ton. There's a lot of wood. There's a ton of fiberglass, acrylic. I mean, heck, if this thing could go into steel, I bet you it's every bit of 300 pounds or more. But it ain't like the good old days anymore, so you can't get away with that. I used to not care about plastics and fiberglass as long as you weren't bringing a whole dang boat in or something. But these days they don't allow much of anything, so I guess we'll attempt to get started here and see where it goes type thing. What's that? Yes, ma'am. They're up there in that white tote. No, it's inside.
Thank you.
Yep, have a great day.
You do the same. You got the right idea.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It was postal pickup was the new I guess a fill-in probably for our main person, but yeah, that's the other thing is I still don't have a tripod. If anybody has a suggestion for like I guess a good tripod that works with your cell phone, like with a phone that has like a case on it, you could toss me a comment about it. I'm not sure how to like do all this. I guess without mounts and carrying. I guess I could carry it around the whole time and try to show you right now. I'm just trying to get these arms off. There's 5 bolts underneath, and it appears there's going to be something on the curve. It looks like at least another 4 over here. Something holding it in on the side. It's got some wobble, but it ain't ready to give in yet. Like I said, this is something I definitely would not pick up off the side of the road. Not today's times with as strict as they are at the scrapyard. Back in the day, they didn't. Like I said, they didn't really care much. But yeah, I mean, heck, that handle alone is probably a good 20-25 pounds just by itself. But this is a massaging chair. Never been to get anything like this done, so looks like it's got some good weight to it in here. There's a motor in there. And whatever, I guess that little wheel contraption in it is most likely the massager. I don't know where to begin completely on that yet, but yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting one for a video, that's for sure. I guess if you ever wanted to know, you'll either watch and see or skip towards the end there and you'll be able to see what comes out of this. So, we got a electromotional rod type motors for the front and back seat. It looks like almost like a hydraulic pump, but just electrical. So I guess that would be what, an actuator, if I can remember correctly. Definitely a lot of junk that goes on or goes to it also, but you got to get out of the way to make this able to go to the scrapyard type thing. So yeah, I definitely don't think it's like I keep saying, a worthy candidate unless maybe it's getting delivered to you, or maybe you're getting a ton of them at one time, you know, and you can kind of assembly line type tear down them or whatever. But probably a horrible day to be doing this. We're under heat advisory right now, close to 110 degrees, feel like temperature. We're at 93 temperature, 109 feels like, and I think it was like 71% humidity. So it's definitely a shade kind of day for me. I'm trying to see if it's worth messing with each of these individual pieces and taking them out, or just trying to get this thing off of the base here, because there's only what appears to be some brass in here, just like your typical drain plug for a bathtub type thing. But yeah, it looks like most of this is all going to be underneath, and that's going to be a fun one. So let's see what we can do with what we got right now. Since we don't have power, that might have been a bad idea. Definitely not chasing after. There is a steel plate under there. I mean, it's definitely not worth doing. I mean, we treat this video as a kind of scrap it all type video, so you know exactly the total weight and all that. I wouldn't have all the exact prices like he does for all the different countries. That's, you know, that's another thing to learn too. But it definitely doesn't look like it's worth it. But we'll see. Maybe I'll mess with it here later. Like I said, I'm gonna cut a lot of this video out. Strictly because this is what's a bad idea for a video. There's either small motor or pump right there on that. Probably pump to recirculating the water. But yeah, so far they're what's this steel? There's a small steel cable there. I'm not sure what that. And it's got a light. So I have to go grab some pipe wrenches or whatever to pull that off. But it definitely does have a brass nut on it. Right there where I left it. Let's see if we got brass underneath the chrome. Yep, and it's got brass underneath the chrome, so that'll be a little bit of brass. There's another brass piece. I'll just grab the camera and try to show you. There's literally nothing underneath this thing. That's pretty much all of it so far. There's not a whole lot to this thing underneath there. These are what I thought, or I'm thinking, was holding that chair on. I'm gonna try to pull that off. Like I said, there's another good chunk of brass there, but it definitely ain't gonna fit through that hole with all these. And instead of trying to mess with all that in that small area, when I go to cut this up into pieces, I'll just do a couple little relief cuts into there to loosen it and yank it out of there that way. I don't think the time investment is worth chasing that, or that little bit of steel hosing. Everything out of there is gone. Like I said, there's that little metal plate under here that is completely rusted. Looks like a recirculation type pump there. But we'll go ahead and mess with the chair next, and see if I can get this base separated from the chair, and then swing back in after that. I can tell y'all one thing that that heat is good for is draining batteries on phones very fast. But that's about it seems like. All right, so we've gotten the base off. Everything's been cleaned out. You got the shear motors off to the one side, the pump. I might actually try to weigh this entire thing up at the end of this instead of just the scrap, just to see how crazy and heavy this thing is. Because even as you go, each piece doesn't seem to be getting too much lighter as you go. But so right now we're going to take the back off this thing to see if it's going to be easy to get the massager rollers, arm, whatever you want to call that. Appears to be 4 screws, and we can hopefully get to finding a way to getting all that out, the framing and all, in one shot instead of piece by piece type thing. There's a little panel with all the wiring. Put that to the side for now. More trash. This is definitely a lot of there's a lot of trash that is going to come out of this one. Just kind of looking around because not exactly sure what all I'm dealing with on this thing. There's a couple springs, but they're down there. Just want to make sure I don't start taking something off and getting popped in the head by it. But it looks like we got another motor down here that actually looks like it may be a copper motor, but we all know those sneaky tricks they like to do with those. I think they purposely color them that color just to get people to recycle all excited and then let down in a very, very quick span. But definitely a lot of wiring in this thing for the different controls. Like it might be holding the brains of the operation here on the side. Fishing these wires that are all over the place. This whole, I tell you what, this whole chair's been one big ground. There's been a ground wire attached to every side, every spot. There's definitely a lot going on in here. I mean, downfall with this is the person that dropped this off is unsure if any of it worked. And I asked him, I said, did the place shut down, or were they just getting rid of it? And he said getting rid of it. So my guess is that there's evidently most likely something wrong with the pedicure spa in general, that they didn't want to continue to say have it repaired, which sucks because I know a lot of people aren't into eBay and reselling and stuff like that, but there's a lot of money in parts. Some of these boards could be worth a ton of money, and it sucks to not really know if they're working, or these motors or pumps. Parts do go up and down from time to time. Usually when the economy's bad, parts start selling very well again. People are more willing to try to fix something instead of just deciding to throw it in the trash. And then usually when the economy's going great, we go back to being a throwaway society. But I've sold. That's where I literally started on eBay. Was at the scrapyard, and back then I was doing a lot of e-scrap, and I wanted to kind of figure out, like, okay, if they're getting it and they're paying me this much, then they're selling it to someone else, and a buyer, then that buyer is selling it to, say, whoever's processing it or whatever. Like, how do I cut out the middleman? And I just kind of just type something into, most likely Google at that time, or what was the other one back then, Bing, and it kind of popped up with some eBay listings, and I just started looking, and then I went from there to, at one time, like, I was literally looking up everything I ever came across, and it got to the point where when I would be out scrapping, what they call the cord cutters and scrapping and all that for, like, the vacuum cleaners and all that, I didn't mind. I still picked up the vacuum cleaner because, in all seriousness, whether it was a generic vacuum cleaner to a high-end vacuum cleaner, you could make an easy $100 off of parts alone, off of any vacuum cleaner back then. And I still get them to this day. That, carpet cleaners, and I wait till I have so many of them, and then do one day, just tear them all down, clean up the parts, list everything on eBay at one time, and there's 40, 50 listings, and then you get to let it ride, and just wait till it sells, ship it out. But it, especially on stuff like the vacuum cleaners, it's, I'd rather somebody buy, say my scrap trash than having to throw it away or pay to throw it away. I mean, you can literally sell used belts as long as they're still in good condition. People buy used belts for vacuum cleaners, bread makers, any of that. I'm gonna most likely look up some of this stuff and try to maybe try to toss in a couple of at least screenshots of what if I knew, or if I can end up testing it and see if it's working, what a rough idea that the parts sell for, compared to just scrapping them out type deal. But let's see what we got to deal with next here. We got transformers up under here. I'm telling you, either this heat's starting to get to me, or this thing don't seem to be getting much lighter as we keep going. Transformer there. Well, I will tell you guys, I'm jealous of all the ones I watch that have their workbenches and a nice little garage, shed, shop setups, because I truly miss mine, that is for sure. Working with stuff just laying around here and there gets to be a real pain at times. Let's see if we pulley down here on the end of this shaft. It's not going to come out easily, but we should be able to do it. That literally is a circuit board to, I guess, let it know when it gets down too low. Sorry, I'm over here showing it like you're standing next to me. That was right underneath that pulley. It's a low grade board. Let's see. Switch it off or now, back in the day, that's what we all, and I know a lot of y'all still consider cast aluminum. A lot of the yards around here these days treat almost, I would say, 50% or more as die cast, which it's honestly not worth separating when they do that. I kind of touched base a little bit last night on the little take a walk with me video or whatever that I had done, and at the very end of it. So if you're interested, it is at the very end of it. If you don't want to sit through the just hearing the rest of it, but aluminum. Back in the day, like sheet aluminum was exactly that, sheet. Uh, and I took a bunch of bike frames in, and they now consider bike frames as sheet, which they had always been extruded. Anything that was a pipe or milled, they considered extruded back in the day. They are no longer doing that anymore because they say their buyers refuse to buy it at that because there's a weld on it, or say a rivet, which when I say that, I mean like an aluminum rivet. All the steel was stripped off of the bikes. I was going off of what I was used to. So here's one of the motors here that came off of it. It looks like it has copper windings in it, so be interesting to see if it's actual copper or it's going to be one of the trick ones that turn out to be aluminum. Yeah, they don't treat it as that anymore, so, and they won't buy it. They actually said they usually buy it as irony aluminum, which I said, well, never mind then, because at that point I was kind of annoyed. I said there's no iron in this, and they said, yeah, but that's still how we buy it. And I said, well, that's fine. I'll hold on to it then. Like, at that point I was just, I don't know, I'll throw it in the campfire and try to melt it and make a little art out of it or something like that before I was gonna pretty much be having it treated as irony aluminum when there was zero iron in it. But you guys are interrupting the video again. Yeah, I know you guys like being on camera, but it's not your turn, it's my turn. But yeah, so that was a fun experience, and I was gonna walk away with it, and then I asked, and I said, well, what's the price difference? She said, oh, it's only a 5-cent price difference. I said, well, that's fine this time, and kind of find out it was like I think it was 11 or 12-cent difference. So it was kind of annoying, but it was something that needed to get gone, get out of the way type thing. It was just crazy to think. I mean, there was 13 bike frames, 13 sets of handlebars, so 26 rims. All rims had been cut to where the little pieces of steel that hold them together, were no longer there, and still, that was the best I could get out of it, was sheet aluminum. So now we're going to start saving up a little longer, wait before we take in stuff, and make a haul for, head to some yards that are, actually quite a ways away type thing, just to get away from what I consider as them cheating the scrappers. I've seen it before. I mean, not everybody does it, but I've seen it before, at least down here, when they wanted to mess with steel prices and put them so low, like it was a joke, and everybody just stopped. They just stopped coming in for the most part. The majority of the big sellers, and the typical, like, we're almost there every day scrappers, nobody wanted to deal with it anymore, and it kind of made them, back then at least, the yards reevaluate how they were treating their people, you know. I mean, granted, yeah, we don't work for them, but if it wasn't for the everyday scrapper, they wouldn't have the influx of stuff they have to sell on a constant basis. So, man, this thing is gonna fight me every corner. I can tell you time-wise, so far, doing it video style, I've heard others talk about it. Definitely, definitely not worth it. But if you're able to do one and go ahead and bang it out type thing, not worrying about being delicate and say proper for YouTube, and you know, you got that trusty sledgehammer or hatchet or something like that, it could definitely cut the times down quite a bit on getting a lot of this stuff apart. A lot of it's just attached to wood, and it would bust off very easily. I mean, I guess I could do that on video. I just I really don't want to make the mess either. I wanted to get this done and get it out of here to the curb because tomorrow's our trash day. And, as long as I get it into some decent size pieces, and I'm out there when they come, I always help them. I always help load up. When I have extra stuff, you know, other than just the normal garbage for the day or for the week type thing. Because here we have for the most part we have a can, and if it doesn't fit in the can, you can expect to be billed a minimum of an extra $75 for that pickup. So, say you had a kid's birthday party and you had one extra trash bag of trash, and you set it next to the can on the curb, that's an extra $75 on your next bill. So it's got, I don't know if it's gotten that crazy everywhere else. I know here where I'm at in Florida, they have no problem nickeling and diming every bit they can from every direction. But like I said, I'm in really good standing with our guys that come and collect, and we always treat them well. We always, you know, always make sure they're taken care of come Christmas time. And we always help type thing. If we have a ton of stuff, we always have drinks and lunch money for them, you know, for whoever's there to use for the day. Just appreciate them. Kind of same way with our normal male people. We our male people, have no problem. They know we're safe enough and close enough with them that they got to stop here for any reason, whether it's to use the bathroom, get a drink, whatever. They know to. They know there's no problem with knocking or giving us a call if they need to help them out. We feed them, and they actually feed us quite a bit too. So it's kind of a good relationship to have. Get to have someone else's cooking every now and then. But we're getting close. We're getting close. I am sorry this video is taking so long, and I am going to have fun trying to figure out how to edit a lot of this out and speed it up or however that is. My goodness. That frame is... I'm telling you right now, that frame's good. Just about good enough to... You could turn it into a small go-kart frame as solid as this. Definitely wasn't wanting to be defeated this early on in the YouTube channel, but man. I just know that this video is way too long for what is coming out of this, and I really don't want people to think that that's how it is. That yeah, they got these things locked in good, man. Let's see if we can pull this motor. I'm not worried about a few little. Easy. Getting into them. Yeah, there's metal in them. Can't tell if it's going to be aluminum or steel or stainless. Well, I'm going to sign out for now and either get really pissed off at it and get it done and over with, or what, but we're still going to have a some type of little weigh-in on it to get an idea. But hey man, I'm sorry I'm taking the L on this one. It's definitely definitely not a good long form content video for a beginner YouTuber. I know that, and I'm not trying to scare people away. So I'll take my L. I'll continue to tinker with it, just on a more aggressive level off the camera. Try to keep the channel as family friendly as possible. So I'm gonna have have a therapy session with it and see maybe if that'll help loosen this last little bit out to try to get some of this aluminum out of here. some of the. Yeah, there went my pen. There you go. Some of the smaller steel stuff out of the way. And then I'll try to set the camera down and run back and forth for the other. I don't know on y'all's yard. Some people talk about plastic. That amount they're fine with. Pretty much the only thing they really are strict about now is dishwashers, which kind of sucks because they were great for storing all the nuts and bolts and everything else, you know. Sit you down for a minute. Maybe it'll be able to read it. I don't know. So I can dump this over. And I didn't feel like picking out every single little nut, bolt, and screw. We're at 25:14. Oh, and I guess I just dumped my pen in there too. Oh, here it is. There's my pen right there. About 25:14. Next, we're gonna have low grade boards. Pretty sure that's still low grade, but 1 pound, 2 ounces. We'll go ahead and do the brass and get it out of the way. I'd say that's probably the best part of all of it. So, not even a whole 1 pound, 14 ounces. Then we'll cast or die cast 2 ounces. Extruded 0.7. Sheet 1 ounce. than the larger motors. I have left the wire on those. I know that normally wouldn't be done, but I'm gonna try to test these out for resale. So, and if I can resell them, I'll take everybody on that journey and keep you guys updated on it. And then after that, there is 2 more, but they were the ones with the like the actuator arms, and there again I'm gonna try to do those the same way, put them on, you know, if any possibility, sell them on. So that'd be, you know, it's at another 8.2, but I'd say at least take 3 pounds off of that if it was just straight motors. So we'll call it 5.3. And 37.5 pounds. Last piece. This fun is finally over. Which is good, because I'm ready to go get in the shower, get out of the heat, get away from the mosquitoes, and my back is starting to lock up and causing all that numbness down into my legs. But anybody that definitely made it to the end of this video, I apologize. That is I take the L on that one. I thought I was gonna be doing something different. Well, it was. I'll add all the numbers up and kind of toss it on a piece of paper, show it at the end. I don't exactly know what all the prices are here right now, but yeah, thanks for watching. Anybody in Hawaii, you'll be in my prayers tonight. Stay safe out there, and God bless everyone. Have a great day.